You turn off the light. The room goes dark, and for a second before you close your eyes, you glance at the corner of the room. Why? There's nothing there. You know that, but your body doesn't believe you. The real answer is far stranger than it seems. Your brain isn't afraid of the dark. It's afraid of what might be inside it. And that difference changes everything. For more than 5 million years, your ancestors didn't sleep in rooms with locked doors. They slept in trees, in cracks in rock faces, in small groups, backs turned to each other, eyes facing outward into the darkness, because darkness was where predators waited. Biologist Lynne Isbell of the University of California, Davis, spent years studying why primates have such sharp vision for detecting winding shapes and sudden patterns of movement. She called it snake detection theory. The idea is simple and unsettling. Venomous snakes preyed on primates for tens of millions of years. And the primates who saw faster, who reacted before they thought, were the ones who survived long enough to reproduce. That means your eye didn't just evolve to see. It evolved to warn. Notice the next time something moves suddenly at the edge of your vision. Your body reacts before your mind processes what it was. Your heart speeds up. Your shoulders tense. Only afterward, half a second later, does the rational thought arrive. Oh, it was just a shadow. That half second is the living fossil of an alarm system that kept your ancestors alive. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux of New York University mapped exactly where that alarm lives inside your brain. He found a short, almost instant neural pathway that carries sensory information straight to the amygdala, without first passing through the cortex that thinks and analyzes. LeDoux called it the low road, an emergency route. Your brain decided millions of years ago that it was better to react fast and wrong than to think slowly and die right. And that's exactly what happens when you turn off the light. Without visual information, your brain doesn't calm down. It goes on alert. Because in the old silent logic of evolution, absence of sight doesn't mean absence of danger. It means the opposite. It means you've lost the advantage that always kept you alive. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you walked into a dark house and, even knowing you're alone, slowed your steps? Listened to every sound? That's not irrationality. That's a 5-million-year-old survival system, still running inside a body that lives in apartments with locks and security cameras. But why specifically the corner of the room? Why not the ceiling or the window? In 2008, psychologist Joshua New, then at the University of California, Santa Barbara, ran an experiment that became informally known as the Spiders at the Party study. He showed participants complex, object-filled scenes, then changed small details to test what people noticed first, even without realizing they were noticing. The result was consistent. Animals, especially ones that could represent a threat, were detected far faster than inanimate objects like cars or buildings. Even when participants couldn't say what had changed in the scene, their eyes had already gone straight to the shape that looked alive. Your brain has a dedicated system, scanning silently for predators all the time without ever telling you it's doing so. And the dark corners of a room trigger exactly that system, because a corner is where something can hide. It's where shadow has depth. Your ancestors weren't afraid of darkness itself. They were afraid of what it concealed, and your brain, to this day, doesn't know the difference between an African savanna 100,000 years ago and your bedroom in the city. This also explains why young children who haven't yet learned to rationalize fear are so much more sensitive to it. They haven't built the layer of cortex that says, "Relax, it's just a coat hanging on the door." They only have the old alarm running on its own, with no break. And you, the adult, with all your logic, you still have the alarm. You've just learned to argue with it. Here's the part few people stop to consider. This fear isn't a flaw in your brain. It's proof that it worked perfectly well for generation after generation. Every single person in your genetic line, without exception, survived long enough to reproduce. And a huge part of that was simply knowing when to be afraid at the right moment. The fear of the dark didn't hold you back. It got you here. But what now? You don't live on a savanna anymore. There are no leopards waiting outside your window, and still, the alarm keeps going off. This is where the modern mirror comes in. Because that same system, That same fast neural pathway LeDoux mapped is what fires when you open an unexpected notification on your phone late at night. It's the same system that speeds up your heart when your boss calls a meeting without explaining why. It's the same system that makes you check the door twice before bed, even when you know, rationally, that it's already locked. Your body keeps responding to a world that no longer exists with the tools of a world that no longer threatens you the same way. And maybe that's why modern anxiety can feel so disproportionate sometimes. Not because you're weak, but because the alarm was never updated. It's still searching for eyes in the dark. So the next time you turn off the light and your gaze instinctively drifts to the corner of the room, don't get annoyed at it. Recognize what's happening. You're not being irrational. You're hearing an echo 5 million years old, speaking the only language it ever learned. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Darkness was never the real danger. The real danger was always what might be waiting inside it. And your brain, faithful to this day, is still standing guard, even when all you wanted was to sleep.